This time it's all about learning how to secure your data. So in this session we're going to talk about securing permissions in Microsoft 365, specifically in SharePoint and OneDrive for Business. What are they? And most importantly, how do they work? Stay tuned, you'll learn something.
Learn with Andy Malone.
Today's video is sponsored by AFI. Secure your cloud data with AFI-powered data protection. Deploy in minutes with 24/7 protection. Try it today at afi.ai.
Greetings everybody from Copenhagen in Denmark. As you can see, I'm not in my studio this week, so please forgive me. On this episode, I thought I'd take a look at SharePoint permissions as well as OneDrive for Business. There's a lot of confusion on exactly what the best way to set permissions up and how do they work and how do they flow through folders and documents, and of course, how do they interact in the likes of Teams and other apps as well. So I thought in this video, I'll take you on a tour through them. Now, just a quick mention, if you haven't subscribed, we'd love you to come on board. So bump the button up there, ring the bell, and come and join my learning community. And if you'd like more, why not consider signing up to my Patreon site? Here you'll get access to full Microsoft courses, monthly Zoom calls, and a lot more. And if you want SharePoint, I'm actually running a full SharePoint course that you can go and watch today up there on Patreon. Details below. Okay, so I think without any further ado, let's jump in then and have a look at SharePoint permissions and how they really work in Microsoft 365. You enjoy. So you've maybe wandered into SharePoint in the past, but it's maybe perhaps been a bit of a mystery to you. So what I plan to do here is just give you a nice kind of gentle push into the world of SharePoint permissions and also roles as well. So to that end, I'm going to come down here on the left-hand side and I'm going to come in to my active sites. Now, what creates a SharePoint website? Well, you can create a SharePoint website manually by going to the Create button, and users can do this quite easily as well. If you create a Microsoft 365 group, it will also create what we call a team site. So that means that any members within the group can take advantage of it. You can set permissions either in Microsoft 365 groups, or you can come into SharePoint here. And here we have a whole list of different SharePoint sites. And I can scroll down and I have one here called Oslo. So I'm going to head and click on my Oslo website here. Now, you can see that this site was actually created from a Microsoft 365 group, which I then upgraded to become a Microsoft team. And if you've not seen that video, then you can check out my groups video in my identity playlist. So you can manage it. You can obviously, because it's fully interactive group, you get shared email, you get a shared team site, which is what we're going to look at. You get things like additional apps, things like calendar, notepad, and so on. And it also integrates into Teams for communications, for example. So one of the first things that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come down into these tabs here. And this just tells me a little bit about the site itself. The activity tab just lets me know how, what the status is, how many people have used it, when it was last accessed, how many files are in it, and so on. You can also manage membership here. And these are the actual user roles in SharePoint. And this is really important to understand. So we have essentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different types of roles here. So an owner role is like a manager. They own the website, they own the Microsoft 365 group, and in here, it doesn't have to be an administrator. It can be somebody within your company, a team leader or a department manager, for example. So the administrator can actually add members in. So members can work with the content, they can edit content, they can add content in, and so on. Now, in addition, we also have site admins. Now, the owners is very much from Microsoft 365 groups. But what you can do is you can set up a site admin here. And by default, you can see that the primary admins here is actually the owner. It's pretty much the same thing. But again, it might not be the same. So, of course, you can change that if you want to. You also can have site owners. And the reason for this is because you can group sites together into almost kind of groups, and almost if you were like a group of companies and you wanted to set specific permissions on a specific website. So you could have a site owner, and that owner would just be responsible for that site. Then we have our members, of course, and members can read and write and add files and so on, but they can't change things like admin settings and so on, so they're kind of limited. Finally, we also have site visitors, and this might be an external guest that you want to bring in. It might be somebody that's just temporary that you want to give access for a project. Key thing that you should know about visitors is read-only. Okay, so anybody that you invite here, it's just read-only, which might be useful for a project or something like that. Now, the other thing that we need to do, because it's a SharePoint website, is just check out the settings here, and in terms of privacy. So first of all, if I go into Microsoft 365 groups, you're going to get an identical screen here. They're the same thing. So first of all, the privacy for this particular website. Is it private just for the members and the owners, or do you want it to be public? So if it's public, that means anyone can join, especially in the likes of Outlook. So in Outlook, you can search for example, public groups, and you can join them. For this demo, I'm going to keep this as private here as well. So this is SharePoint. And in SharePoint, you can see that we have, first of all, this is a team template that it's using. Now, can I customize this? Of course you can, but that's not what this is about. This is about those permissions. So remember, as I said, those various admin roles. So you've got the owner, you've got an administrator, you've got, for example, a user or a contributor, and then you've got that guest account. Now, you'll notice that we also have an edit button here that can help you edit that website if you want to. But what I want to do is I want to look at permissions. So again, another way to manage permissions is you can come up to this little gear icon here. And here in the gear icon, you can see we've got a few different options here. For example, I can go into my site permissions here. And as you can see, you pretty much get similar settings than you had before. So again, you can add members, you've got a site owner who has full control, you've got site members who have limited control, and visitors essentially no control. That means no management control, and it's read-only. Okay, so I can click on the drop-down arrows here, and of course you can add members, and you can specify where you want them to be as well. Now you can also choose whether you want to share the website as well, or share the Microsoft 365 group. Let me just show you sharing. And you can also share that as well. I'll come back to that in a moment. But right now, if I close that down, and if I go back into that menu, you can see we've got site permissions, and it just gives you the basic site permissions. What if I want more on this here? So what you can do, a quick tip, is you can go into site contents here, and in site contents, you can now see that we're in the full site contents of our site, and you can see that another gear icon appears, and this is the individual site settings. And what this does is it takes me into the classic site settings for SharePoint. What do I mean by classic? Well, in the old days, this was SharePoint 2010, 2013, 2016. This is what it looked like because it was basically an on-premises platform. But because it's in the cloud, what Microsoft are doing is they're moving many of these older settings into categories which make things a lot easier. And indeed, you can see some examples of this. For example, if I scroll down here into Site Collection, and if I go into the Site Collection app permissions, this is an example of a permission that has already been migrated, as you can see. All right, so that is the site. Now, I've come back into the regular website here. And again, in terms of permissions, there are a few things that you might need to know here. So again, you can see that up at the top here, we have got this gear icon here. Now, in terms of the gear icon in here, it gives me some options. You've got the site permissions, which I mentioned. And also, you've got things like you can change the look and the feel and things like that. But with the site permissions, these are collections of, if you will, pre-created site permissions. So as I've said, you can see owners get full control. Site members have limited control, which means that you can add and change things and you can read. But site visitors, you have no control, but you can read only. We also have things like guest expiration, and you can set expiry limits as well. Now, at the bottom here, if you would like more granular access, this will take you into the Classics page. And you can see that also in the advanced site permissions, I'll just make this a little bit bigger so that you can see. So first of all, this is the kind of classic SharePoint permissions interface. And you can see that we have a number of different things. First of all, you've got those permission levels, and these are the permissions levels. So basically, if you are a member, you can add and edit content in. If you are an owner, you've got full control permission. And if you're a visitor, you can read permission. And again, you can go into each of these and basically break it down and see more detail. So at the moment, you can see there's no visitors in here. But again, members, visitors, owners, and so on. So if I click into members, you can see I've got the members group that I've done here. I can select this, of course, and I can click on the little drop down arrow. I can email the users if I want to. I can call or select a message. And this is quite useful, of course, if it integrates with the likes of Teams. And I can also remove users, specific users, from that group as well. Now, if you want to change the membership level, I can click on the settings drop down arrow, and you can see these are the group settings. I can view the group permissions, and you can also choose to make it a default group as well. You can also manage the settings, such as columns and views, what you want your users to be able to see, what attributes, for example, what you want your users to see. To be honest, though, I think that the kind of the group members and what the users can do, these kind of default settings, they're actually pretty good. Now, for more, you can click onto more. So again, here, there are more settings. So you can even set a setting for everyone. For security reasons, this isn't set. But if you wanted a kind of an intranet type website, then this might be useful for that. You can also do everyone except certain users or certain groups, as well as those standard 4 groups here. Now, a common question that people might ask is, well, Andy, can I create new groups? Well, of course you can. You can also create new levels as well. To be honest, though, you don't really want to do that. You don't want to kind of overcomplicate things. Otherwise, you could, you could have issues for that. So personally, I think that although you can customize any of this if you want to, what is always a good idea is if I just go back to the original website here, to be honest, I really like just that if you go to the gear icon, and with the gear icon, of course, let me just go down there. There's the gear icon. You've got that kind of site permissions level here as well. Now, just a quick mention that for sharing, this is equally important. So what happens if you want to share a website? Well, if I'm going to come back into HQ here, I'm just going to come back into my SharePoint, and I'm going to come into settings, policies. And if I go into sharing, these are the tenant sharing options. Okay. Now, the default, you might find it at anyone. And that means that if you share this, for example, with a guest, they can then go on and share it, which you don't want to do. On the subject of guests, new and existing guests, that means that if you're in Microsoft Teams and you invite a guest in Teams, they will add their account into Entra ID. And as well as that, of course, administrators can also invite guests. Now, if you just go to the existing guest level, that means that administrators have already invited guests, and you can't invite your own guests. And then, of course, at the lower level here, only people in your organization. In other words, you're keeping any sharing just internal only. So I'm going to leave mine at this level here. And then, of course, you've got individual options here. So, for example, things like choose the default permissions and choose the link on the specific people within the organization or just people within your organization there. So that's the tenant level settings. Now, why is this important? Now, you can go, for example, to your own websites now, your individual websites. And if I select Oslo, and if I go into my settings tab, you can now see that I've got external file sharing here. And sure enough, you've now got those same 4 options. But this time, you can see that anyone is grayed out. However, this particular website, you could say, I'm only going to share with existing guests only. You understand? Get the idea, I hope so. Now, I did mention that you can also share content from within groups and teams as well. So if I go back into Microsoft 365, into active teams and groups, and then if I come in here and then just scroll down, and again, if I go into Oslo HQ, you can see you get identical settings. So if I go into the settings, it's identical. So it really means that you've got that continuous set of permissions, and it's really easy to understand. Okay, so there you have it. In that section, we looked at SharePoint permissions, both the standard set as well as the classic sets of permissions, and also groups and also sharing. I hope you found that useful. So there you have it, SharePoint permissions as well as OneDrive for Business in Microsoft 365. Understanding permissions and how they flow is super important. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time around. Take care.